Hello, my name is Dr. Esther Trufan, and in this video, I'm going to share with you a few considerations regarding AI policies for your syllabus. When should you add an AI policy section to your syllabus? It is crucial that you do so if you have any penalties for AI use. You need to be clear about that. If you have any expectation around AI use in your class, whether it's allowed or forbidden, or there are circumstances for each, you should make those expectations clear. If your institution doesn't have an AI policy, then you should definitely have one. And if your institution has a policy but allows customization, you should definitely consider how your course may need something other than what your institution provides. Also, if you want to provide guidance to students on what AI applications are appropriate and not appropriate in your discipline, then you should consider adding an AI policy. The purpose is that students can only meet expectations that they know about. And if you provide clarity and transparency in your expectations, that allows students to learn as intended instead of worrying about the unexpected consequences of guessing how to learn. And that includes with AI or without. Here is an AI policy sample. AI language models like ChatGPT, Copilot, Claude, and others can be utilized for any assignment with proper citation. It is your responsibility to verify the accuracy of statements generated by AI. In general chemistry labs, each assignment is submitted via Canvas with a check by Turnitin, which will detect both plagiarized and AI-generated content. Students may use Google, SciFinder, Web of Science to search for more information, or ChatGPT and other generative AI technologies to draft their work. But that content can't be submitted as the student's own work for a grade. The first offense will result in a grade of 0 for the submitted document and a report to the Office of Dean of Students. And the second offense will result in a course grade of F. If you need help recognizing what is plagiarism or AI-generated content, ask your instructor. This may seem a little bit harsh, but it is important to know that students will learn the most about expectations and how to meet those standards in their first year courses. If we let cheating and plagiarism and AI-generated content prevail in early courses, that means that students will carry the understanding that that is okay to all future courses. If you're okay with that, you don't have to have an AI policy. If not, set standards and be clear about your expectations. Here is another sample. This one is from a different class of mine. Artificial intelligence language models like ChatGPT, Copilot, Gemini, Claude can be utilized for any assignment with proper citation. It is your responsibility to verify the accuracy of statements generated by AI. In these first couple of sentences, it's near identical to the other one. But I am a little bit more specific about what is okay and what is not okay to do with AI. Generative AI may be used for some course-related tasks. These include the following: searching for references on relevant topics. And here is where I add a few comments of my own. AI may hallucinate, so check to validate the existence of the resources. Copilot and Claude, and even ChatGPT if you ask it, and Gemini for sure, will give you links to where the information is coming from. You can evaluate the legitimacy of the source that way. Summarize or extract relevant information for references. AI does not understand science, so it's essential to check the validity of the output. This is more relevant to upper level courses where the content is not as broadly available. And so in that case, this is very true. For general chemistry, AI may understand a little bit more. But in all cases, when a summary of information is involved, it is important that you confirm that the AI interpreted it correctly. Draft and outline for your report. This is where we need to consider that AI will respond to the prompt that you're introducing. So if you're asking it to write a report without a lot of context, it will do so, but it will be extremely generic. So this is where prompt engineering will be helpful. You need to make your prompt very explicit to get information that is useful. AI can help with referencing style. So if you would like to reference something in ACS style, then AI can very likely help you with that. But it is important that you verify the output. And then AI, because it's a sophisticated language model, it can actually provide recommendations on improving your writing. But you need to know exactly what you want out of the process before you ask AI to do something. It is not uncommon for AI to take information that is clear, concise, and turn it into something that is not. If you're communicating scientific work to a scientific audience, you need to be very mindful of how AI transforms writing. The use of generative AI for the following tasks is considered plagiarism and is detected by Turnitin. If you write the whole or significant part of your report using AI, then that is likely going to be detected by Turnitin. You should also not write paragraphs that you submit without modification as your own work. So how do we implement an AI policy? The first stage is to use some kind of tool that allow even for not perfect detection, but some detection of AI-generated content. Be mindful that these tools, including Turnitin, can produce false positives. So before you jump to any conclusions, meet with your students, ask them how they are approaching things, and explore what could have caused the positive. It may be that the student cheated. It may be that Turnitin detected something else. Only include consequences that you will actually implement. I can't emphasize this enough. If you let things slide the first time, then students will not consider those boundaries firm enough, and you will experience multiple violations of your policies. And then, this is important, if you're going to act on your consequences, then it is important that those consequences are in alignment with your institution's policy. So make sure that you familiarize yourself with your institution's procedure for reporting matters of academic dishonesty. When it occurs, you need to be ready to act, not because you want to, but because the situation demands it. So here are some practical considerations for AI policy. Because having a policy makes a lot of sense, but how do we apply it to real-world situations? Here we have an instance where Turnitin identified a summary as 70% AI-generated with multiple paragraphs that appear AI-generated. If this is the first time when I see a report like this for a student, then I ask for the student to meet with me, and until that meeting occurs, their grade is withheld. After that conversation, I usually allow for a couple more weeks for the student to demonstrate that they can in fact submit work that is not AI generated, and they can comply with my policy. If that is the case, I will allow for a revision of the work that was flagged as AI generated. This actually happened a couple times. Turnitin identified a teamwork reflection that was 95% AI generated. In that reflection, the student described very specific instances of how they interacted with their team members. And this occurred multiple times within the same assignment and multiple students within the same assignment. Because the examples that were provided were so concrete that especially for students who never had an AI violation during the semester, I considered these as false positives and did not pursue them further. So this is where I made the judgment call. It was the end of the semester, and it was an assignment that was somewhat valuable at 5% of the grade component, but because the personal nature of the disclosed information, I concluded that AI may have had a role in refining the content, but not in the development of the content itself. This also happened a few times. A pre-lab had steps that did not belong in the actual experiment and different amounts, sometimes different equipment. That is typically what happens with casual and non-informed AI use. If one simply asks ChatGPT to complete the pre-lab with just a copy-paste of the prompt information, the AI is not going to pull the information from the prompt, but it will find the information that is commonly available on that topic on the internet. And that is what is going to summarize, not the actual videos that are provided with the prompt. So if that is the case, that is typical AI behavior, and it's very easy to identify if the student is using it so casually. In that case, I treat it as cheating. The first time the offense occurs, I have a conversation with a student, I withhold their grade, and after that, they have to submit a handwritten pre-lab for every week. Over time, if they demonstrate a change, that may change. Otherwise, it will be treated as cheating and it will trigger the academic honesty report. What happens when an abstract reads like a polished narrative but has no numerical data and appears disconnected from the experiment? Turnitin provides a report for 0% AI-generated content. There are many tools available now that will take AI-generated content and humanize it, which means they're obscuring the AI-generated content from detecting tools like Turnitin. In those cases, there are still ways that may hint that the content was AI-generated. And that is typically there is polished prose, limited scientific information, and a lot more description with very little interpretation. In those instances, when there is a concern that is raised, I have a conversation with the student and withhold their grade until that conversation is settled, and maybe even withhold the grade until they can demonstrate improvement from that stage. AI by itself will not improve, but a student with feedback and iterative practice should. What happens, and again, this has occurred in the past, you met with a student, you clarified your expectations around AI use, but Turnitin continues to show another high percentage of AI-generated content. If Turnitin is showing a high percentage of AI-generated content, and the type of content that is submitted is consistent with how AI-generated text typically behaves, and the conversation with the student has not produced a meaningful change, then you should not have a second or third conversation about how to make things better. The second or third conversation should be around the formalities of filing an academic dishonesty report. These are just some of the current considerations of AI policy implementation. Obviously, there are many more options and opportunities for you to experience engagement with AI in ways that are allowed and not allowed under your policies. The more you know about these and the more options you consider, the more you can respond to your students in a way that encourages and incentivizes learning and not the outsourcing of those capabilities. For a full syllabus template that integrates some of these considerations regarding AI use, visit experimentium.org.